In the early hours of October 15, 1980, a small staff at WCPO in Cincinnati was working through what should have been an ordinary night shift. Around 2 a.m., news reporter Elaine Green and a channel photographer were heading out to their cars when a man carrying a semi-automatic rifle stepped out of the darkness and ordered them back inside. He assured them no one would be hurt. He simply needed the cameras to deliver a message. The man was 41-year-old James Hoskins, an out-of-work artist living in Cincinnati's Over-the-Rhine neighborhood, one of the city's poorest areas. Along with the rifle, he was armed with 5 handguns and roughly 600 rounds of ammunition. By the time the rest of the staff realized what was happening, James already had the entire newsroom under his control. He gathered all 9 employees at gunpoint and told Elaine he wanted to go live on television. Elaine, however, convinced him to record the interview on tape instead, preventing the station from airing an unpredictable hostage situation live to viewers at home. What no one at WCPO knew at the time was that the most tragic part of the night had already occurred hours earlier. When the camera finally started recording, James began explaining why he had come to the station, holding a gun in his hand the entire time.
Okay.
Well, I really didn't have anything together, but there's been so much violence. And
he spoke about the violence and poverty he witnessed every day from his apartment window in Over-the-Rhine.
There's not enough attention paid for the poor people in the Over-the-Rhine area, and there seems to be in the country a growing kind of thing to keep black and white at each other's throats, to keep the rich on top, so the poor people have no way to fight. The police have become the knights, the buffer between the rich and the poor. And the poor, I don't know if you've ever been in the Over-the-Rhine area to see the old people. They have nothing. I watch them. They have nothing. They sit in their bed all day long, and that's all they have to look forward to. Nothing's happening for them. Nobody cares. Nobody does anything.
He then turned that frustration toward the media and the city itself. He accused news stations of ignoring these neighborhoods until someone was killed, and criticized city officials for clearing low-income housing just so convention visitors would not have to see the reality of the poverty there.
It seems like the things you should be covering, you don't cover. You never come into the area unless somebody gets wasted. They're displacing people. They tear the buildings down so that when the people come into the convention centers, they don't have to look at the poor.
Even as James laid out these grievances, he spoke like a man who already knew exactly how the night would end.
Can you see this world from your window?
I can see the world from my bay windows, up and down the street.
Possibly a story could be done from your window of the world
I
you
won't
see.
be there in my windows after this, I'm sure. Maybe you can do it from my windows, but I won't be there.
This realization only deepened the seriousness of the interview. Yet, for a man forcing people to listen at gunpoint and claiming his life was effectively over, most of James's points did not sound entirely detached from reality. He rambled and occasionally struggled to gather his thoughts, but his anger consistently circled back to genuine social problems and a system he believed had abandoned the people it was supposed to protect. The interview continued for nearly 10 minutes. As the tape started running out, Elaine asked if there was any final point he wanted to make, prompting James to finally reveal what he actually wanted next.
Jim, we have probably another minute or so on this tape. Is there any other point you wanted to make?
I can't think of any point I want to make, except give me a place where the police can come and get me and we're going to shoot it out. And you people can leave.
Here?
Well, I don't see any other place for me to shoot it out. They've got their magnums. They want to hurt the poor people in the street. I've got my magnums. I'm ready. I'm loaded.
Hearing this, the people in the room desperately tried to reason with him, pointing out that his earlier ideals did not align with ending the night in a shootout. But James' response instantly changed the entire context of the interview.
He seems such a nice gentleman.
I blew my girlfriend away tonight. It's over for me.
Before arriving at the station that night, James had shot his girlfriend, 30-year-old Melanie Finley. Her body was later discovered inside their shared apartment on 12th Street. This confession made his calm demeanor deeply disturbing. It became apparent that he was not using the cameras merely to fight a corrupt system, but to explain an act he believed could never be undone. Even as Elaine and the others pleaded with him, assuring him he could still get help, James insisted he was beyond saving. He blamed drugs, paranoia, and a plan he claimed had been set in motion long before that evening.
We don't want to see
I
you
have no
hurt.
choice. I have murdered my girlfriend. I have been taking this weird drug. I am out of my mind.
But you
man.
can get help.
I can't. We planned. We did all these things. This whole thing was planned back in San Francisco. It was all started out.
We don't want to see you hurt.
You don't want to see me hurt, but they're going to hurt me. There's no way around it.
You gotta have faith. We're trusting you. You're trusting us right now. You don't believe in people?
That's what, over the period of time, I've become paranoid. I tell you, the drugs or the angel dust people turned me on to angel dust. They did numbers on me in San Francisco that I ran from one end of the place to the other.
He remained absolutely certain that he could not come back from what he had already committed.
I know that I'm slipping away.
Can't we help you before you slip in? You don't want to slip completely
I'm
away.
gone. I'm gone. All they'll do,
I don't know.
there is no help for me.
I
Look,
don't-
I murdered my girlfriend. God damn, man, I killed her.
After roughly 90 minutes, James allowed all 9 hostages to leave unharmed and barricaded himself alone inside the newsroom as police and SWAT teams surrounded the building. Negotiators spoke with him by phone throughout the morning, attempting to talk him down. At 9:15 a.m., while on the phone with an officer, James calmly stated, "Well, it's time. I'm going to do it now." Fearing a trap, police waited another 4 hours before entering the building. When they finally breached the newsroom at 1:45 p.m., they found James dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. A search of his apartment revealed that the WCPO interview might have been just one piece of a much darker plot. Investigators found additional weapons, bomb-making materials, and detailed files on prominent city figures, categorized under labels like political creeps, business creeps, and police tactics. Elaine Green later won a Peabody Award for her incredible courage during the standoff. While much of what James said that night highlighted very real societal issues, the violent manner in which he forced the world to listen remains what makes the footage so haunting. At around 9:30 p.m. on May 28, 1982, viewers in Phoenix, Arizona had their regular programming interrupted by an unscheduled broadcast on Cool TV. On the screen was veteran news director Bill Close, sitting beside a man he addressed only as Mr. Gwynn, and reading aloud from a handwritten script. Before proceeding, Close was heard checking if it was safe for a guest to leave the studio, a request the armed man permitted.
This is the script that Mr. Gwynn gave me, and I'm going to read it verbatim, and anytime you wish to interrupt me.
The words on the script jumped erratically between country music singers, religious prophecies, the Civil War, and predictions of a coming World War II. To viewers at home, the broadcast already appeared incredibly strange, but what they could not see was a .38 caliber revolver aimed directly at Bill's stomach beneath the desk. The man sitting beside him was 28-year-old Joseph Billy Gwynn. Roughly 4.5 hours earlier, he had forced his way into the Cool TV building carrying the revolver and a small portable television monitor. The first person he encountered was production assistant Nancy Petranka. After confronting her, he pushed deeper into the station where another employee, Louis Villa, attempted to intervene. Joseph pistol-whipped him, locked him in a chokehold, and dragged him onto the set where Bill and 2 other employees were preparing the evening news. Now holding 4 employees hostage, Joseph fired a single shot into the ceiling to prove his weapon was loaded. When Bill asked what he wanted, Joseph's response only caused more confusion.
Now God's shown me what was going to happen in the future. Those cities are going to be built and there's going to be destroyed. There's going to be civil war in America, and America is going to be divided
By
up.
then, The staff inside the station realized they were dealing with a man whose grip on reality was severely fractured. Over the next several hours, Bill carefully managed phone communications with police negotiators, relaying Joseph's demand to have his statement read live on television. Each time Bill spoke to the police, he had to return to Joseph to reassure him and prevent him from believing he was being stalled or ignored. As the hours passed, Joseph grew increasingly paranoid that the station had no intention of broadcasting his message, and his desperation mounted. With Joseph becoming dangerously unstable and a loaded revolver still pressed against Luis, police finally agreed to let him go live on air with Bill at approximately 9:30 p.m.
You're on. My name is Joe Gwynn. I am a watchman. Read the 33rd chapter of Ezekiel. This is about the story of the 10...
For the next 21 minutes, Bill read Joseph's chaotic, 11-page statement live to the Phoenix audience.
Prophets are Johnny Cash, Ronnie Millsap, Eddie Rabbitt, Larry Gatlin, Hank Williams Jr., Rex Allen Jr., Willie Nelson, Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn, Lacey J. Dalton, Tanya Tucker, Barbara Mondrell, Joe Gwynn, the traitor. The Arizona Republic and Phoenix Gazette can verify this story. 16 years ago in September, about the 25th of 1966, all of these people's names above meet at the same time, including me. I was almost 13 years old. We all meet, and we're together at the same hour. Mysteriously, I was the only one who knew what it was about. The others didn't. I did.
The further Bill read, the more difficult the message became to follow, shifting from biblical prophecy into aggressive, Islamophobic rambling.
Song for me that day, it's called Mistakes. There is one thing they all knew, is that I held the key. They all knew that I knew something, but they didn't know what. I saw a movie. Islam is using something called sociology on children in schools across America today. Sociology is the study of the human condition. It is also something called funnel vision. Funnel vision is a way at looking into the future, and it is also hypnotism, being able to hypnotize people. Islam is using this sociology on children. They used it on my generation to start the hippie movement and drugs, and on today's generation to turn them into punks and punk rockers by hypnotism.
As the statement progressed, Joseph's claims grew even more bizarre. He described an American Civil War and a Third World War that he was convinced would occur in the coming years.
Islam is going to blow these cities up with atomic bombs. These 5 cities are Cyclops in Pennsylvania, Ominix in Arkansas, Yosemite in Nebraska, Isolox or Itchabad in Idaho, and Snix in New Mexico. All these cities will be isolated. After this happens, there will be civil war in America. The United States will be divided up into 4 countries, an Islam country in the east, southern states of America in the southeast. In the southwest, it will go back to Mexico, and a new state from the states in the northwest. In the next 20 years, there will be a migration on 80 million people from Latin America. In the next 20 years, that will follow that there will be 200 million people from Latin America in the United States. There will be a civil war. The United States will become a Latin country. The southern states of America will be invaded in about 2006 to 2016 from an army from Brazil. That war will last 6 months. Brazil will destroy the southern states of America in 6 months. The fall of Canada will come shortly after. More about the 10 prophets. As the newspaper reporters were arriving, I was leaving. They only got a glimpse of me, the man from Islam, knocked the camera out of the reporter's hand. The next day it came out in the newspaper, a story, the 10 prophets. Here again were the names of the people I met that day. Their pictures were on the front page. Johnny Cash, Larry Gatlin, Ronnie Millsap, Eddie Rabbitt, Hank Williams Jr., Rex Allen Jr., Conway Twitty, Willie Nelson, Lacey J. Dalton, Tanya Tucker, Loretta Lynn, Barbara Mandrell, and where my picture was supposed to be, it was blank below with the words, "The Traitor." This much of the story the Arizona Republic and the Phoenix Gazette can verify. They left it a mystery. Today in the public schools, the story of the 10 prophets is being taught. Take a survey among 6th grade school children. Bill Close, at least 1 in 6 know the story about the 10 prophets. Why is this being taught, and why is it being kept such a secret? Why are they doing this? Find out. In the last 16 years of my life, I have had communications through mental telepathy with all of the peoples named. In the story of the 10 prophets, all of these people have tried to get me to show up for 16 years. They have wrote songs and talked to me. Lucy J. Dalton wrote a song for me, Mistakes. Bill Close, listen to the song. In the song, it talks about another big gray movie, provides the big silver screen, and about my crazy dreams. Let me interrupt here. Do you want to read some of this, or do you want me to continue reading?
Leave this part out.
Leave that part out?
Sorry.
Okay. Do talk to her. Also, Tanya Tucker watched me being born. Why isn't it a mystery? Ask Dan Rather to talk to Johnny Cash. They have met before when Dan Rather did 60 Minutes on Johnny Cash. They talked a little, not on television, about the 10 prophets. Johnny Cash knows my name. Call the Arizona Republic and Phoenix Gazette and find out if this story ever existed. If they can't find it, do a survey with 6 grade school children. You will find 1 in 6 who will confirm the story exists. Islam started a fire at the Arizona Republic and Phoenix Gazette several years back and burned the place up. Please check out my story of the 10 prophets. This is why I am known as the traitor. Here is my story. When I was a little boy, about 5 years old, I did something called astral projection. My spirit took a walk out of my body. I was frightened. A man from Islam shows up to me and starts showing me all the things I would do and what I would become by using funnel vision. He really scared me. Then an angel shows up and they talked, and the man from Islam left. Then the angel shows me a book about me and the life I was supposed to live. The angel told me the story about the 10 prophets. Then he told me I was a watchman, Ezekiel chapter 33. The angel told me I would meet all these people, the 10 prophets, the country singers. This is these people's part they have in this. Back to the beginning. Islam used sociology on our people. In my generation, they call us hippies. Islam came to my school, C.J. Jorgensen, 1963 on Rozier Road and 17th Avenue in South Phoenix. Now the angel told me all about Islam and his culture. The black man is Iqab. This is his African culture, Islam and sociology. Sociology is the study of the human condition. It is funnel vision and hypnotism. The Latin America has also mastered sociology and hypnotism. The East European is from Romania, Hungary, Czechoslovakia. These 3 are brought together through Islam. These 3 groups are the best organized in the world. They have infiltrated every institution in America. The Eastern also has a way of looking into the future. By looking into the human mind, they can see that person's thoughts in the future and change those thoughts with the use of hypnotism. They can program the human mind like a computer. People will do what you tell them. This is how hippies got started and the punk rockers. Islam used this sociology on children. Now the 10 prophets' part in it was that these people's part in it was that I was to tell them the story, but not about the angel, only about the cities. Cyclops in Pennsylvania, Ominix in Arkansas, Yosemite in Nebraska, Isolox or Ijabad in Idaho, and Snicks in New Mexico. I had a movie inside my head about everything they did and could have proved it. The singer's part, the 10 prophets, was to get these people back to their country roots and away from chasing fads like hippies and punk rockers. It was to unite our people one more time. World War III will start in the fall of 1988. Edward Kennedy will lead the United States in World War III. He will be the next president and be elected 2 terms. The angel said we could unite and fight these Muslims, Islam and their allies.
Perhaps the clearest indication of Joseph's psychological state was his fixation on the small portable monitor he had brought along. Throughout the broadcast, he repeatedly checked the screen to verify that the station was actually airing his message, as if the only reality he trusted was the one playing out in his own mind. When Bill finished reading the final page, Joseph calmly handed over the revolver and surrendered without a fight.
I got a sweaty palm. I want to shake hands with you.
You really do, huh?
You bet. I told you I was playing this fair. Did you think I... You didn't trust me all this time. Oh, hell, it's all right. Leave him alone. It's okay. Put down the guns. I have the gun. Back off.
By the time it ended, everyone in that studio had endured nearly 5 hours, trapped in a terrifying scenario that could have turned fatal the moment Joseph doubted Bill's cooperation. Joseph was subsequently charged with 4 counts of armed kidnapping, 3 counts of aggravated assault, and first-degree burglary. However, after pleading no contest, he was declared legally insane and committed to the Arizona State Hospital. Remarkably, Joseph was released just 6 months later, despite warnings from prosecutors and involved psychiatrists who doubted he was safe to re-enter society. 2 years after the Cool TV crisis, those concerns were validated when his delusions resurfaced. Joseph was arrested at a Phoenix convenience store for assaulting and threatening 2 clerks, screaming that Johnny Cash was going to kill his family. This arrest triggered a probation violation from the original hostage incident. Joseph was sent back to prison and remained incarcerated until 2005, more than 2 decades after he first brought terror into a live newsroom. It was 1987 at NBC's Burbank studio, a bustling facility where popular programs like The Tonight Show and Wheel of Fortune were filmed, alongside live news broadcasts. Despite the high-profile nature of the studio, security was not as stringent as one might expect today, allowing visitors to come and go with relative ease. On this particular day, one visitor would exploit that access and disrupt everything. Gary Stolman entered the NBC studio not as a forced intruder, but as the guest of his father, an employee at the network. Passing through the halls went completely unnoticed, as it was common for staff to bring friends and family to observe live broadcast productions. Gary, however, had no intention of simply watching from the sidelines. As the countdown to air began, the studio staff executed their standard routine. Cameras were positioned, microphones were tested, and producers monitored from the control room to ensure a seamless broadcast. But lurking just out of frame, Gary was waiting for the perfect moment to strike. In the middle of the live broadcast, he made his move. He walked directly onto the set, startling the presenting news anchor, David Horowitz, and the entire crew. Brandishing what appeared to be a firearm, Gary demanded David's attention and handed him a handwritten note to read on air.
Pardon me? What is this? Let me see what it says. All right.
He's got a gun to his back.
All right, well, let me read this. Folks, we have someone on the set who's standing here and would like me to read this copy which was just handed to me. You want to tell me your name or not? What is it? And Gary.
By this point, the control room had immediately cut the broadcast feed. However, entirely unaware that they were no longer live, David was faced with a split-second decision: resist and risk a violent escalation, or read the note to keep everyone in the studio safe. Without hesitation, David began to read the message. The statement was bizarre and heavily steeped in paranoid delusions. Gary claimed that the government had replaced his father with an alien clone, and he was absolutely convinced that mysterious forces were trying to silence him. Even though the words made very little logical sense, David read every sentence with total seriousness to placate the man threatening his life. Gary remained oblivious to the fact that not a single second of his manifesto was being broadcast to the public. It was only later, in a follow-up segment NBC produced about the harrowing incident just hours after it occurred, that the network aired the final moments of David reading Gary's letter.
I was then forced into a mental hospital in Tallahassee, where I learned that my brother-in-law had been driven insane in the same manner that...
The police arrived shortly after the incident concluded, securing the studio and placing Gary Stolman under arrest.